Secret Service agents arrested a 72-year-old man from Queens, New York, for threatening the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, saying that if he didn't concede the 2020 election, bad things were going to be coming his direction. We have a copy of the criminal complaint that we are going to go through, see specifically what he was so upset about. But before we do, let's take a look at the court, make sure we understand who is a part of the case. Thomas Welnicki, we can see here, is the defendant. He is down in the bottom right. He's being prosecuted by Victor Zapana, U.S. attorney from the U.S. Department of Justice, federal case, obviously the Secret Service. And this case is being overseen by the U.S. federal judge, Vera Scanlon, making sure that both sides keep their, rules in order, keep things appropriate. And Victor Zapana, the U.S. prosecutor, is representing the victim, Donald Trump, which is a little bit interesting. A lot of the time on this channel, we're sort of considering Donald Trump on the other side of the equation, opposed to the U.S. government, but not in this case. He's actually the victim. And so let's take a look now at Thomas Welnicki. This is the sketch of him in court. Of course, he's in handcuffs. This is where he is being charged, this affidavit and complaint in support of the application for the arrest warrant being drafted by Matthew Bartolo. You can see him here. He is a special agent with the United States Secret Service, duly appointed. Case filed out of the Eastern District of New York. The document to be filed under sealed, of course, unsealed now, filed back on January 7, 2022. We can see we have a Secret Service agent. Don't know if it's Matthew particularly down here in the bottom right, but this individual writes, on or about between September 24, 2021 and December 2nd, 2021, approximate dates and times in New York, Thomas Welnicki knowingly and willfully threatened to eliminate or to kidnap or inflict bodily harm upon a former president. Only a handful of them, to wit, individual number one, individual whose identity is known. He says the source of this information are as follows. And he says, well, because this complaint is only necessary to establish probable cause, I'm not talking about everything that is in here. So he continues on. He says, look, I'm qualified. I've been a special agent with the Secret Service for a long time, New York field office for about 2 years and 7 months. Been there from the intelligence squad. I investigate threats against the president, vice president, members of the first and second families, as well as former presidents of the United States. He says, I've also investigated cyber fraud cases as part of the Secret Service New York field office, the Electronic Crimes Task Force. Says, I am familiar with the facts and circumstances set forth below. My review of the file, including the criminal history of everything, unless specifically indicated, this is a nice summation of what I have found. He says, Welnicki is a resident of New York. During a voluntary interview that took place on January 15th of 2021, Welnicki provided his phone number of his cell phone to law enforcement. So he called them, or there was a conversation, and they've got his number. During a voluntary interview then, 6 months later on July, Welnicki told U.S. Capitol Police that if individual number one loses the 2020 election, I'm sorry, let's rewind the clock a little bit. We see here there's a year difference here. This took place 2021 because a year prior to that, or 6 months prior to that, in 2020, is when he said this. If individual one, Trump, loses the 2020 election and refused to step down, Welnicki would acquire weapons and take him down. So he said that in July. Of course, the election is taking place in November, just a few short months later. And so he told the Capitol Police before the election, if he loses and doesn't step down, I'm going to acquire weapons and take him down. Welnicki bragged about how easy it was for him to acquire firearms. Says, look, I don't want to hurt anyone, but I will stand up to fascism. At the end of this interview, Welnicki stated, I really hope that God takes Trump out. On or about January 4th, then, election is over. Welnicki, Trump has lost. January 6th has not happened yet. Welnicki called the Secret Service, their Long Island resident office, from his cell phone and left 2 voicemail messages. Individual number 2 served as the president from January 20th to, okay. So they give us a footnote. They say individual identity who's known to the deponent, the person writing this, served as president of the United States from January 20th, 2017 until January 20th, 2021. I wonder who that could be. Well, we better protect that person's identity. We should still call them individual number 1, I guess. And so we're going to continue to do that. He says in each of those voicemail messages that Welnicki left on Secret Service's phones on January 4th, he threatened to eliminate Individual 1 as well as 12 unnamed representatives or senators that he stated he believed backed Individual Number 1. Welnicki further claimed that there was a $350,000 reward out there if they eliminated Trump and the 12 other members of Congress who helped Trump. In his first voicemail, Welnicki stated, "I am going to do everything I can to take out Trump." Oh yeah, that's a threat. Come and arrest me. I will do anything I can to take out Trump and his 12 monkeys. If I had the opportunity to do it in Manhattan, that would be awesome. Tomorrow, Trump will be in Georgia. Maybe I will, he says. In the second voicemail, Welnicki stated in substance that he would aid and abet anyone that would help eliminate Individual 1 and any of the 12 members of Congress. He stated, "I'm going to Georgia tomorrow. I think Individual 1 is going to be there." We now see sort of an active threat. Paragraph 7 continues, then on or about September 24th, Welnicki called Secret Service's New York field office from his cell phone and asked them, the Secret Service, about protection of former presidents, including Trump and his children, and asked what weapons the Secret Service used. Welnicki also asked about how he would arrange a protest at the residence of Individual 1 on Pearl Harbor Day. He further stated that he has a legal right to own weapons and guns and ammunition. On or about November 8th, then, this is 2021 now, so election is long over. He is still investigating this. Welnicki called the Secret Service in New York City at least 3 times from his cell phone. During each of these calls, he identifies himself by name. During the first call, he stated that he was a resident of New York City, repeatedly referred to Trump as Hitler, and stated, "I will do everything I can to make sure Trump is eliminated." During the second call, he stated there is a contract out to remove Trump. Paragraph 9, during a voluntary interview then on November 9th, 2021, he admitted to law enforcement that he called Secret Service on December 2nd, 2021. He called Secret Service again from his cell phone. He sought information about how to schedule a protest over at Trump's place. Further stated, the new civil war could break out and taking up arms against the government is justified when ballots don't matter. He added that he owned a .22 caliber firearm. So the affidavit continues. This is the Secret Service agent writing. Says, "I request that the court issue an order sealing all papers submitted until it's unsealed." It is now. He says, "Based on my training and experience, I've learned that criminal activity, search for criminal affidavits and arrest warrants via the internet. Therefore, premature disclosure could jeopardize this case. In addition, should the defendant learn of the investigation, there is additional risk to the safety of former government officials. So keep it sealed." It was sealed. He says, "I am now requesting an arrest warrant so that he may be dealt with according to the law." Matthew Bartolo, special agent of the United States Secret Service. And so reading that affidavit filed by Secret Service agent Matthew Bartolo, doesn't seem to me that Thomas Welnicki is well. And oftentimes this is the case in criminal cases. What may happen is as this case progresses, it may become necessary to have Mr. Welnicki go through a competency proceeding and get evaluated by medical professionals to determine whether he is in fact competent. Does he actually know what he's doing? Is he really angry with Donald Trump? Is this actually something that he is going to complete? Law enforcement has to take any threat seriously, but the justice system, in my opinion, should be suited to helping people recover and become rehabilitated, not penalized because they have problems that maybe we can help them with. So what do you think about this? Thomas Welnicki making some pretty serious threats against the former president. Has been arrested. He will be prosecuted. Would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love it if you subscribed before you got on out of here because I look forward to seeing you on the next one.